Good morning and welcome to episode 45, halfway to 90 and 10 more to 100. You see how my calculations work there, it's all great. So, another week without Adam. Me and Alina have gathered that Adam just doesn't work at all, does he, Alina? She's nodding away in the background. He's a lazy odd he is. No, that's not right. So, today we have a lovely guest. It's a surprise guest from Joe Long. How are you, Joe?
Very good, thanks, Andy. How are you?
Absolutely chipper. So, tell everybody about Joe Long and Joe Long Consultants and what do they do?
Okay, so I'm a strategic marketer.
Wow, strategic. I like that word.
It's like a bit, black magic.
Oh, it's a fabulous idea.
No, it's not really at all. So basically, I work with businesses, generally SMEs, in the Northeast, and I go into the business and see what their business objectives are and what marketing activity they've got, and align that marketing activity with the business objectives to make sure that the business is actually benefiting from the marketing rather than it being a bit haphazard or we'll just do a bit of this, we'll just do a bit of that. So I tend to go in, have a look at what they're doing now, basically assign them other opportunities that they can look at and make sure everything's aligned so it's actually producing for the business.
That is a fabulous idea. Really good, really good.
Thanks.
So, as you probably know, we work with Adam in terms of our marketing. And I was sort of like blown away. So, like every other customer, I'm going to assume that you say, I can do this. And they go, yeah, we do all of that. Mm-hmm. We do that. And actually, just like I did, it was like, no, I'm not doing it at all. And obviously so busy doing everything else. So do you find that when you're going into these customers, they all, bless them, believe that they're doing it, but obviously after 10 minutes of speaking to you, they go, actually, no, we're not. We're not doing anything like that at all.
I think you just absolutely spot on there because business owners they do so much themselves.
Of
They have so many
course.
hats, everything else. So when they think, I'm doing marketing, well, marketing's such a big thing.
Absolutely.
It's such a wide concept. So doing some marketing, okay, but is it producing for you? Maybe not. What are you doing? I find that quite often, again, because businesses are very busy, unless they've got dedicated resource, they're not being consistent with what they're doing. So therefore, they're not necessarily seeing the benefits of what they could have. So they might say, we put this out and it went viral, or it did really well for us. We got like 10 sales. Okay, so what did you do next?
Yes.
Well, then we did something else. Or we did the same and it didn't work as well. Oh,
Wow.
right. Well, okay, there's a reason for that. So let's look back at actually what you're trying to achieve. So are you looking for profit? Are you looking for turnover? Are you looking for new clients? What are you looking for? And then what marketing tactics are you putting in place? Are they the ones that are really going to take you to your end or where you think your end goal is at the minute as quickly as possible?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, marketing's expensive.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Time is expensive because people don't have a lot of time. So, trying to get in front of people and talk with clarity and as speedily as possible, but as thorough as possible to get people to understand what you do, it's really hard these days. There's so much noise.
Oh, gosh,
so,
yes.
it's finding out those ways that are going to make your marketing most efficient for your business, really.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's very different for everybody.
It is. It's very different. I sometimes laugh because I speak to a lot of my customers, and obviously I have the same thing with Adam. Bless him. He's like, "Do you do marketing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do marketing." And then, no, actually, I don't. But I also get some of my customers like, "I haven't got time for marketing, Andy. It's just not what I do." I'm like, "That's fine." Therefore, one of mine and Adam's traits is we talk about trusted partners. Yeah. And obviously for some customers, last week we had the lovely Sasha War on, and you're working with Sasha. Mm-hmm. And I went, ooh, there's interesting. But obviously Sasha was saying that she trusts you and you to do all the marketing. So what I'm getting at here is that some customers like, I don't want to do marketing at all. I haven't got the time. I don't think I need to. But then even I'm going, so what are you doing to attract the new customers? What are you doing to do this? And again, some of my customers like, I don't need marketing. I don't know what to spend it on. No, I think it's just a waste. And I'm like, you look at all these big companies like Coca-Cola, Virgin, and one thing I want to touch on, we touch on it regularly in our podcast, but I do think it's important and I'd love to get your feedback. Marketing, as I understand it from it's about that corporate brand, and brand touches everything. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
So through to my core is all about getting a business brand presence and brand reputation in place. So it's building on that. So they might already have a good reputation. Well, that's good. Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
But are they telling people? Are they telling people what they are, what they're about, what their purpose is, all that kind of stuff? People consumers are really savvy now. They want to know what's behind a brand.
Yes.
They want to know it's authentic. They want to know it's doing good as well, whatever that might be, doing good. But so to have your brand reputation there and all those elements that go into brands, so it might be, obviously you're wearing branded uniform today,
Absolutely.
as I would expect. That counts towards your brand reputation, your brand presence, because when you're out and about visiting customers, you're wearing your brand.
Yeah.
So it's really important when customers said, well, marketing doesn't work for me, or I haven't got time for marketing. Well, they probably are doing, it's like anything, they probably are doing some things. So they might be out networking, or they might be following up on a pitch or a proposal they put in. That's still marketing. That's what I mean. And marketing is such a broad subject topic.
Yeah.
So it's finding those things that they're doing already and saying, well, that is your bit of marketing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that can enhance it? But also, what are you trying to achieve? So again, in their business, if they're quite happy just to plod along and not get any more business, they're quite happy with what they've got. Okay, it's unusual, but okay, that's fine. Just carry on what you're doing then. But if they've got a reason to have a longevity in business, if they want to leave a legacy behind, or they want to growth, or they want just to sustain what they are, quite often in the markets they're in, they'll have to do some sort of marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Is it right as well? And I do know the answer to this, so forgive me, it's a bit of a loaded question. But also, Adam and the rest of the other people that I've been speaking to about branding and corporate imaging, it's not just about, like you're saying there, the brand and the image. The image and the branding also flows down to people. Like if let's say, for example, you invited me in to look at your IT. If I turned up scruffy, not wearing a brand T-shirt, and maybe just sitting down, literally arms back and going, no then, Joe, you all right, sweetheart, what's the matter there? I'm not sure that would really put on. So do you find, again, that in your work, your branding is not only to physical things, but also personal, like physicality and me talking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And it's all, most business will have a value of professionalism.
Right, okay.
I think I haven't met any business that doesn't want to be professional.
No, and I get that totally, but it's sometimes they feel as though, but I know, Joyce, it's all right. I think, well, no, it's not that at all, because you don't know who else is looking in.
Exactly. And people are watching all the time.
Yes.
Like, you have your lurkers, like lurkers in the background. They watch what you're doing, and I have them. And I quite often say to people, please don't, go in depth on my website, for example, because it's not up to date, because I haven't had time to do it. It's things like that. But having all of that coming together, that is your brand, So having, like you say, branded uniform perhaps, or your website very professional, reflecting those values and how you work. So the culture of your business is really important. The personality of business is really important, because people buy from people still. There's that old, thing. People still buy from people now. And so it's when you connect with somebody and you meet someone and you either like them or you don't particularly like them. And that's fine. But, if you like them, there's a reason why that. So it's probably you share values, or there's a personality, that you appreciate or you like. And that probably reflects in how they do business, especially if you're a small business. Quite often it's much easier to keep that personality.
It is.
On the outside as well, if you like.
Exactly.
When you get to the bigger corporate, so I'm ex-corporate, so I know.
I want to touch on that. Yeah, exactly.
It's much harder sometimes to actually keep that personality or that brand representation in those people that go out and actually see people as well, through sales teams or commercial fronted, like I was in corporate.
Okay, so we met at the last business centre, Business Darlington Centre, where it was at the Great North Air Ambulance thing. That's where we met. Yeah. And again, if you don't mind me saying, we obviously went through a lot of people on that day, lots and lots of lovely, lovely people. But I certainly felt as though there was a little bit of a spark between us when we were doing the thing, which is why I was like, oh, I'd love you to come onto the podcast. So that's really nice that I felt that.
Yeah.
So can we just go back? Where's your background from? You said you were in corporate originally, so you just want to touch on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so I had, not to give my age away too much, but I had, I know.
23.
Well, clearly, but I've had 20 years in corporate, so I didn't start at age 3, unfortunately. So I was in corporate for about 20 years. I started in marketing.
Right.
And then I went to commercial. So I was front-facing to customers, and I was looking after big accounts like B&Q and Homebase.
Goodness
Wix.
me, right. So big corporate.
Yeah, so big contracts, millions and millions of pounds, negotiation, all that kind of stuff. But it also meant, because it was in corporate manufacturing that I was in, it also meant I had to know all the back end of the business as well. So I had to know how products were made, the R&D, or the health and safety, or the transportation side, all that kind of stuff. So actually, it gives me quite a good little kind of angle from my point of view. I'm not a straight marketer.
No.
I have that commercial angle as well. So when I go into a business, I understand about the commercialities that's required.
Yes, yeah.
So, and whether that, again, whether that's growth, whether it's profit, what kind of profit we're looking at, all that kind of aspect as well. So that background put me in a really good stead, I think, to
so.
understand.
Absolutely,
and also,
yeah.
you know, it's a good relationship thing.
Yes.
And I love people. I love meeting people. I love building relationships. And that's really kind of like my biggest love in my business. I can go into a business. I'm super nosy. That's the problem, actually. I'm really, really nosy. So I love to know about people. I love to know about their businesses, where they've come from, why they've started them. So when I left corporate, I worked for a few smaller businesses. And then I set my business up when I moved to the northeast. I haven't moved very far, just south of Leeds. I moved up to the
Okay,
northeast.
but even so, though,
you know, we moved about 10 years ago now, and I set my business up about 9 years ago.
Right.
And, there's a bit of a story behind why I set it up, but you know, I'll tell you. I'll be honest. I do tell people anyway. But well, I was very lucky position when we moved up. My husband said that I didn't have to work anymore, which is amazing.
super news. Yeah, absolutely.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? So I'm like, okay, we didn't have any childcare up here, and we had 2 quite young children then, so I looked after the kids. That was my main priority. But I'm not very good at housework. And he did say, you know, clearly, if you're not working, then there's these jobs you're going to have to probably do. Keep the house. I'm like, oh, there must be a way around this. I hate it. So I set my business up because then I don't have to clean.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know.
Hey, so what? I hate it as well.
Kind of kickstart. I know, exactly. You're like, who wants... Anyway.
No.
I don't enjoy dusting and things. So, yeah, so that's how my business was born, if you like. But I also had a few contacts that asked for some support, so very small micro businesses. And I thought originally that's really where kind of my heart lies. And it does still to a point, because I think a lot of micro businesses still need so much support, certainly from a marketing point of view. But they're very sporadic, and they're tiny businesses. They wear lots and lots of hats. They're desperately trying to get in front of people as well. So their kind of revenue and their business activity is very sporadic, which means mine was as well. So it doesn't make for a very sustainable business.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No. So I had to kind of up my game and think, actually, where do I want to go? So I moved into more the SME sector rather than micro. And the way I've managed to kind of tick my heart box for the micro businesses really is delivering workshops and things like that and speaking slots. So that's kind of how I still hopefully deliver what I can do to micro businesses, and then they can always contact me afterwards if they want to. But really, I tend to work with small, medium, tight-sized businesses now.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Yeah. So, what do you think in terms of the large corporate? Obviously, you're looking after a huge team. Now it's just you, But what did you bring? We were chatting last week with Sasha, and obviously, bless her, she used to work down in London.
Yeah.
And then again moved back up to the northeast. What she was saying, Sasha was saying, was that the corporate background, if you like, the training, the whole theory of working in there, really helped her to apply those big standards to smaller standards, but not with the costs associated, not with, and I'm putting words in Sasha's mouth, not with all of the politics and things like that. So how about yourself in terms of big corporate? It must all be good, but everybody knows big corporate, big politics, everybody beating their chests. Whereas normally to me, and this is my personal, smaller businesses, they just want to get on. Yeah. They're just really all excited about doing their job.
And that's why I love working with them, because the impact, you can see it's so much quicker.
Yes.
For when I was dealing with B&Q, for example, if I wanted to put a promotion in, it might take me anywhere between kind of 7 and 12 or 13 months to get it through.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of all the red tape and the proof you had and the evidence, and then all the pallet stacking and all that kind of stuff. It's a huge, huge job. It doesn't happen overnight. And also corporate, a lot of it's, I think some of it's changed now, but not all of it. It's quite browbeating and it's hard work, and you're still just a number.
Yeah.
And actually I love working. Like I said, I'm super nosy, so I love people.
Yeah. I
love working in a business where you can get people together to make something happen.
Yes.
And you can see, on their faces when something goes well, like even if I deliver just a marketing plan to them or something, and we talk it through it, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This gives me so much more clarity and process and steps. It makes it so much easier for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about smaller businesses. So there are lots of things I've taken clearly from corporate. I wouldn't be the kind of business person I am now without it. So and again, the insights I had commercially as well for the business, but smaller businesses, lots of those you can take about relationships, about how you deal with customers, customer service, all that kind of stuff, and because a lot of the time I was front-facing with the customers.
You
and
were,
they were big. there's a lot to be said about how you build those relationships and how you keep them going. And even maybe if they fall a bit latent, how you go back and you keep yourself in the picture.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to be learned. But like you say, it's bringing them into much smaller environments, but ones with less restrictions.
Of course.
Shorter decision-making chains,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
That must be a real
fab.
buzz for you in terms of knowing what you would do, like 13 months to get this over the project,
Yeah.
whereas like probably 13 weeks or 13 days, you're like, right, we've done.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're beginning to see the impact of that now.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never say the results from marketing will be short term.
No, they can't be.
It's highly unlikely you're going to see something in 2 weeks. But, if you can be consistent and you put a plan in place and you measure and track your activity, so you know it's working for you, then certainly within kind of like 3 to 6 months, you should be seeing impact from that. And that's a much shorter scale.
No,
obviously,
absolutely,
smaller
absolutely.
business, so.
One of the other points, and again, I've said this in a number of different episodes, Joe. But again, I want to hammer it home to our listeners out there. Some customers, shall we say, don't bother with marketing. I'll never be on social media. I don't need to be on social media. I believe, and certainly I remember an episode with Louise Darg, and she's just a bookkeeper, but she's treading ever so slightly and helping other people with their social media. So the problem that I've always got is that, let's say that you and me in my day-to-day life, either in personal or in business, and you go, Joe Long, okay? What does Joe do? The first thing that you do, website, social media, how active is she? What's she doing? What's the latest news? And again, I fight with some of my customers, because God bless them. They're like, yeah, I've got a website, Andy. And I'm like, yeah, it was designed 1 year ago and there's nothing on it at all. You've no news, there's no blogs, there's no activity. And, one of my little sayings is, you might as well have it as being a website. It might as well be a cobweb, because it's just sat there. A website not being used is a cobweb, because people look at it and go, I'll just push that away. So again, what can you help our listeners to say, why do I need to be on social media? Why do I need a marketing brand?
Yeah. So I'm going to say, and maybe it's, I don't know, a bit controversial, but I'm going to say that not everyone needs to be on social media.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's digital marketing, there's definitely a place for it, don't get me wrong. There's also a place for other methods. Like I said, marketing is such a wide scope of things, whatever that is, tactics and, subject matter, whatever. So concentrating purely on social media, okay, if that's for your business, that's great. But if you think about how we as individuals use social media now, we scroll non-stop.
True.
We quite often don't have sound on because it's intrusive. We might have our favourites we look at.
Yeah.
How often do we look at it every day and actually engage with it properly? Are we watching telly while we're looking at it? So we're not actually watching either of those.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So you've got to have a really, really cleverly designed social media strategy, in my opinion, to make your social media work for you.
Very good.
And if you rely on that solely, then you could be missing out on so many other people.
Yeah, of course.
Because not everybody will see you on social media. Not everyone uses social media.
Correct.
I know it's highly unlikely, but it's also then onto platforms. So which platform you're going to be on.
Yeah.
So for me, when I work with any clients, it will be a mix of, yes, there's some digital to do. Clearly, website, for me, I think has to be a thing.
Yes.
I think every business should have, even if it's just one page, to say exactly what they are, because then somebody, for example, if I met you the first time, then I can go on, look at your business. Oh, yeah, that's definitely Andy. Oh, yeah, I recognise his picture. Oh, that's exactly. There's a bit more detail about what he did, because we only had maybe a 3-minute conversation.
Oh, gosh, we did, didn't we?
Yeah. So I can say, yeah, he's a real person. I know who he is. That's exactly who I need to speak to.
Yes.
Social media, yes, absolutely. You can go on there and check again if you want to. But like I say, it's not for everybody.
No.
So there are other methods. So it might be you need to be going networking one-to-one.
Yep.
Or networking to a large amount of people. You might need to do speaking slots. You might need to be at events. You might have to have posters in your community hall. Whatever it is, it just depends on the business. So for someone saying, I don't need marketing, well, they're probably already doing, because they're probably telling people about their business. And even if they're not, if they're giving a good service, somebody else is telling someone about them.
That's the key.
And that's still marketing.
It is, 100%.
And word of mouth or referral will always still be the best marketing tool you can ever have. Because if you give an excellent service, your product or your service has stood up to what it's meant to do, and people are impressed with you, they will go and tell someone else.
Yes, and that is marketing, or a form of marketing.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. So I suppose it's down to, every aspiration of every customer, of every company. Do you want to grow? What do you want to deliver? Obviously, from a term of resilient, and obviously I can hear within yourself, you want to deliver an excellent service. You want to enjoy what you do. You want to obviously pay the bills.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no point in doing your role of a job where you're like, I don't enjoy doing this. I'm like, well, what are you doing it for? So you're right. The fact that I would give a good service to somebody, like, I'm not doing anything, but I am marketing that.
Absolutely.
Because that person will then tell that person, which will then tell. So the whole thing rolls on.
Yeah.
So I slightly disagree in terms of some of my customers where I don't need marketing. I'm like, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
You probably just need somebody like yourself to focus that energy on what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly right.
And again, some customers may just go, I don't need it. I'm happy with the 5 customers I've got. If I get another customer, so be it.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Where I disagree, really vehemently is where you're saying, oh, I don't need a website. I'm like, you do.
Yeah.
Because the minute, as you said, who's Andrew Reid from Resilient? You quickly went onto the website.
Yeah.
One of my other pet hates, bless all of my customers, they've all got a website and none of them is showing them. And I'm like, how do I know it's you?
Yeah.
They all use stock images. And I'm like, nope,
No.
you shouldn't really. They would like to see a picture of you, and obviously if you have looked at our website, there's me, there's little GIFs of us with the heads and the bobbleheads, but it's just us all over.
Yeah.
Because when people look, oh, that's Andy,
Yeah.
that's Michelle, that's Dan, that's Eddie.
Absolutely.
That's what we need to do. And that is a form of marketing.
Totally.
So again, it's really interesting. I find this whole subject really interesting and fascinating.
And I think there's also, there's other reasons for doing marketing, if you like. So like we talked about brand presence and brand reputation earlier, even with, I'm going to throw the buzzword in, sustainability.
Wow.
I know, it's a big one. It's a big bomb. But again, sustainability is such a massive subject as well.
Of course.
But it's also a massive buzzword, and that's what people are looking for in various forms. So I prefer to talk about ESG, so environmental, social, and governance, because I think that sets up the 3 pillars of that area.
Very
but
nice.
Sustainability is kind of like the umbrella word, I would say, for all of that activity. And again, part of your brand reputation relies on what good are you doing? So are you being a responsible business? And so if people can see that's evidence, or if you're telling people the stories of what you're doing, then that adds to your brand presence and your brand reputation. And therefore people think, oh, actually, I'd like a brand like that. I want to buy from a business like that. There'll be people who don't give 2 figs about that as well.
Absolutely.
They just don't care. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to buy, that's great. If you don't want to buy, also great. But if a business has values, every business has values, irrelevant of what type of business it is. So if that your best customers are going to be those people who align with those values and want to buy from you. They have the need for your product or service, and they align with what you do and how you do it, because that's, again, it's what people like people. People like businesses
exactly.
like that.
That's a really interesting thing. So one of the things that, again, before I met Adam and before I would like to say respectfully realised that I should be doing marketing. I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we have found out, if you like, through Adam, when he said, and funnily enough, my lovely, exactly what you said, Joe, sustainability.
Okay.
What he said to me was, he went, what do you do with these old computers? And I went, oh, well, I WeCode them. And we got onto the subject of WeCoing. And he went, what does WeCode do? And I told him. And I went, all right, is that a service? And I'm like, no, it's something that I do, because I feel it's the right thing to do, because I am not probably in the best industry about e-cores and stuff. I'm obviously doing lots of electronics and goodness well. But what I said to Adam is that if you, Joe, had a computer that was not being used anymore, I would take it off you. I would e-core, do whatever I need. Either repurpose it for a charity or put it away to a WeCore so it's disposed of properly, economically, and I get charged for that, and I don't pass the cost on to you. And Adam just went, that is something that people need to hear about. And I'm like, why? But you've just hit the nail on the head there, because I didn't realise it at the time, Joe. It aligned with my values. And he went, other people will want to, and nothing sales wise will just go, that's a nice thing to do, Andy.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be pushy sales.
No.
You need to buy from us because of this. But these are values of our company.
Yes.
Or this is my values of my company.
Yes.
Whatever that is. So for those people who then think, actually, that's a really great thing to do, and they'll keep you in mind, and you will stay in their mind, and eventually, whether they want to buy or not want to buy is irrelevant, actually, in some ways. They might buy from you, they might not, but they'll certainly tell other people.
Yeah.
And again, you're back to your ambassadors and your word of mouth referral.
Yeah. So another nice story that I've got, and again, all prior to Adam, all prior to marketing, I did some work, a lot of work. I spent 9 years in Edinburgh, lovely place, and everybody knew what I did, as in terms of IT, and they knew I ran Resilient, but I was actually in the contracting market. But you get talking to people, so two people that I know, shout out to Colin Fox, who's actually very good in politics at this moment in time.
Okay.
And also Johnny Russell. And basically, I set up websites for them. They were both for charities, and they were looking for the websites. They got chatting to me, and I went, let me sort them for you. And they went, right, so what's it going to cost? I'm like, you're a charity. Don't worry at all. I'll sort it. I'll did it. Myself, Michelle, we built the websites during our spare time. And long story short, perfect. They both were very, very happy.
Yeah, it's nice.
Colin Fox, I didn't know was a party political member of the SSP.
Okay.
And about 4 years later, he came back to me and he went, did you know I'm this? And I'm like, no, I didn't have a clue. I'm really sorry. And he went, SSP are now looking, or the SPP, forgive me, it's one of the Scottish Socialist Party, SSP, we're now looking for a new provider for a website. Please, can you quote? And I was like,
Amazing.
okay. So I quoted, I got the work. And basically, when I met all of the other board members, they were saying, because of what you did for Colin, back then for free, we've now given you this work.
Yeah.
Johnny Russell, again, it was a pure charity thing. They are now hugely successful. Fraser Centre, massive call out to what they do in Trinent. They've got a huge, massive building. They've got a load of lottery funding. Hello, Andy, can you quote for the IT work? And I won that as well.
Amazing.
And on both sides, it was like, it's because of what you did, Andy, selfishly for 2 to 3 years of just giving your time, we now want to work with you.
Absolutely. And that's great. So that kind of falls into the CSR, corporate social responsibility
Thank you.
side of that.
That's what I was going to get at. Yeah.
So which is, again, a massive, or one part of a massive area of ESG or sustainability, if you want to call it that. And something that I've qualified in quite recently.
Oh, wow.
So I've been awarded an accreditation in sustainable marketing. I know, it's a level 6. I'm very proud. I know. But it means that it just shows how passionate I am about this aspect of marketing as well, and what it can bring to businesses. Because, again, rather than it being, marketing actually can be a bit of a dirty word because it drives consumerism.
Of course it does.
Which, of course, when you look to the greener parts of life, if you like, and the world, we only have so many finite resources, and we're just consuming them at a ridiculous amount, rapid sequence. And, eventually something, probably not in our lifetime, I don't think, but, something will implode. So what can we do to leave a legacy for our kids, grandchildren, whoever comes after us, whatever? So it's that aspect of business for me is really important. So like I said before, becoming a more responsible business. So taking these aspects into account. So yes, they can be amazing marketing stories like you've just said. And actually that's an amazing piece of PR for you.
Absolutely.
You don't have to shout it from the rooftops, but what a brilliant way of referral and repeat business, all that kind of stuff. It's incredible. And there's so many smaller stories like that businesses are probably already having or doing.
I guarantee
that
you
again are great for building that brand presence, that brand reputation, just solidifying, yes, these are our values, and this is the proof of our values.
Yes.
So yes, I say that, I don't know, maybe you do pro bono work, or you care about the full life cycle of equipment, tech equipment, for example. Well, you've got proof in that because that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So people say, well, Andy says this, it sounds really good, but let's have a look.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, actually he does actually do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's confirmation again. Or you're being authentic to what you're saying you're going to do.
And I think that is a perfect thing that you've said, Joe. So all the things that I was thinking it's the right thing to do, which, as you quite rightly said as well, I think everybody wants to do the right thing, but you're right. They're going, I don't want to talk about it. It's actually nothing but more word of mouth. So the other two stories that I've got is that I do a lot for charities. So there's a skate park, Full Motion Darlington.
Yes, I know it well.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I nearly broke my elbow, actually.
No.
Yes.
You
I
don't
can show you the
skateboard.
scars. No, I roller skate. Well, I did.
You did?
Briefly.
Wow.
And I had a very bad fall. Thanks. I had a
bless you.
helmet on. Yeah.
Gosh, right, okay.
No.
Well,
Anyway.
we do the IT for them.
Ah, okay.
So we do it all free of charge. Lovely Ollie out there
Amazing.
and lovely Nigel.
Fabulous setup there as
Oh,
well.
it is a hugely good setup. We do all of the IT for them. We set the website up for them. We set the Wi-Fi up for them. Yeah. What was really nice is that Michelle was at a Darlington business club, and she got introduced to a few people. And she went around. She went, "Hi, Joe. I'm Michelle." And she went to this gentleman. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but he went, "Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm from Resilient." And he went, "Yep, know all about you. Saw the sign at the Full Motion. My kids go there. there. Good thing what you're doing. And again, that was really, really, really nice. Just
Yeah.
for something that I did. No, let's just help you out. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
And it was really nice for instant recognition. Not that Michelle was touting for business, just
No.
introducing herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And instantly that gentleman went, yeah, I know all about you. So that thing that you said there about if you want to do something that you believe is right, not only is that a good PR story, but people will just hear about you.
Yes,
and
they
I
will.
think as what you're picking up on the point you said, validation.
Absolutely.
Who are you? What you doing? Yeah, I know about you. I know
Yeah.
what you do. It's great story, all of things.
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with people who just go, oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to do any of that. And I'm like,
Why would you not? want
why
to
would you
say?
not?
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to be proud of what you're doing?
Correct.
And I'm not talking about kind of, and I'm not being disparaging when I say this either. You know, companies that perhaps just give some money to charity. I mean, there is a
Of
place
course,
for that.
not 100%, Joe,
But for those
absolutely.
businesses that are really looking to their community or the social impact that they have, and the stories behind that can be incredible. And it might be internally, it doesn't have to be kind of outside. Like, I mean, that's an amazing thing you've done for Motion, but it could even be inside a bigger company.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, maybe they're offering the duvet day type thing or
Yes.
something like that. Or
Yeah.
there's, I don't know, they're bringing in perhaps yoga teachers and they're doing chair yoga at
Yes.
work, you know, and making it very inclusive and very accessible for everybody. All those kind of things add up to all of that kind of cultural values, reputation piece, you know, and that's
Wow.
what marketing is.
Now, one of the things that you were saying about everything about marketing, we mentioned sustainability, we mentioned the eco, we mentioned all that. Is it right to say, Joe, that, you know, not a long time ago, but let's say when you were in B&Q and the corporate marketing, to me, it was very business suity and, you know, we're going to do this today and we're going to do that and we're going to do that.
Absolutely.
Today, in your world with your small businesses, I suppose, as you've already mentioned, you mentioned the word marketing and somebody goes, it's this, it's huge. Are you finding that as we go more and more into this new era, and obviously today, last week in terms of the government and things like that, we are marketing now it must touch every aspect of business.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of what either people don't necessarily comprehend how much there is to go at, if you see what I mean, from a marketing point of view, but also it can be really overwhelming and also a bit stifling. And actually, there's so much, I don't know what to do, and therefore I'm not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
You know, so there's two sides to it, I think. And also there's a fear factor in it.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
if I do this, it might cost me money. If it's not going to cost me money, it's probably going to cost me time or people time, one way or the other. And therefore, what am I going to get back? Like, do I really need to do this? I actually need to buy small stock, or I actually need to pay my electricity bill.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you know, do I really have to pay for marketing? Well, no, you don't have to pay. You can do it. There are other ways to do it. Providing you've got time, obviously, to do it.
Time,
Yeah.
the biggest factor.
Yes, exactly. But, you know, without doing anything of that, then for me, I don't think your business is going to move forward, you
No.
know? So, yeah, I think definitely kind of like massive overwhelm. But also I think people forget as well. Like I said, I'm not going to be disparaging about digital side because there is a massive place for that. And I am a big flag waver for digital marketing as well. But people forget it's not all about social. So
Correct.
just sticking a post every 2 weeks on Facebook
Yeah.
is probably not going to make you any return on your investment for
No.
marketing, whatever that investment might be, whether again it's time or money. But being consistent, maybe going to a networking meeting once every month or once every 2 weeks, but consistently and meeting those people and getting those relationships and them understanding you. And therefore, when you go to another meeting and there's someone new and they say, oh, I already know about you, Andy, because blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. That's when your marketing's working. So that's why the consistency is so important. So rather than doing once on Facebook every 2 weeks, do 2 or 3 times a week on Facebook, but do it every 2 or 3 times
Correct.
a week. Every week for 2 or 3
No,
times
no,
a
I
week.
do,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And have some engaging content you're going to put out there, not just, here's my dinner for today. I
Yes.
think we're past that now.
We are,
Hopefully.
thank goodness for that.
Hopefully, you know.
Honestly. But one of the big laughs that Adam has with myself is that in order to market resilient, obviously people go, what do you do? And I go, I do everything.
Yes.
There's literally everything that I do. So Adam span that around, and the big laugh at the moment is that I'm in the walls. So again,
Yes.
thankfully, one of my lovely customers, Lane 7, obviously they do all the bowling and things like that. When you walk into a Lane 7 or a Level X area, I am nowhere to be seen. Mm-hmm. However, the minute you walk up and you log in, the person that's using the PC, that's my PC that I've set up, connected to the internet. When you log on to the guest Wi-Fi, that's me. When you log on to the arcade machines or when you're using something, all the Wi-Fi in the background, that's all me, but you never see any of me. Can I compare that's a little, to me, that's like marketing. You've got to be doing it. You may say, I'm never, ever, ever going to make money off the marketing. But the bit that I really enjoyed what you said about there is that repeating. Anybody can go into any one of my customers and not realise that I'm in the wars as Adam Laughs. But if they asked, oh, Andy and his team from Resilient, Andy from his team, it's that repetitive thing. Again, is that something that you are strongly passionate about
totally.
in the marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I work probably a bit similar to you. Quite often I'm kind of, I don't know, undercover, incognito.
Exactly.
You know, not many people know who I work with while I'm working with them because there's just no need.
Yes.
You know, I don't, it's not for me. It's not my kudos to say I'm working with this. I mean, you know, I guess if it was, I don't know, Disneyland or something like that, maybe Disney World.
No, I get what you're saying from that point of view.
You know,
yeah.
So yeah, I like the fact that I'm a bit underground in the business because you can have the impact and you can see the difference in the business. And to be fair, the business doesn't grow or develop because of me.
No.
It's because of the work they put in. So I might give them some direction and you might give them the tools, but they then use them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how the business grows or evolves or however they want to move the business forward. So yeah, I think there's still that whole piece about if you do a good job, people will still talk about you.
Yeah, but I think what I like and what I'm getting from you, Joe, if you don't mind me saying, is that your strategy allows the business to do what they're good at, but you're giving them the vehicle to move forward, to go, look, keep doing what you're doing, keep providing that excellent service, but what I'm doing is I'm allowing you to put this vehicle and saying, this is your marketing strategy. So as you say, I bet you walk into every company and they go, no, not a clue, don't do marketing. Within about half an hour, you're going, you do marketing. This is marketing. And they're all like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Okay. You explain it to them so simply, which is why I'm getting it, and allowing them to progress that. That must be great for you.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, one of the analogies I use is like a darts board.
Okay. Right.
So basically, your ideal customer is that bullseye in the middle.
Definitely.
Yep. So you want your dart to go as smoothly and as quickly into that bullseye. That's it.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who would definitely want to buy from you. So maybe they're already set up. They've already got their pain points. They want the product or service you're offering. They like you already. They trust you. They're kind of maybe down the whole sales funnel-y type thing.
Yeah.
So they're your bullseye. You might pick up all those other areas of that board as you do it, but the more you talk to those people, and that's what the vehicle is, it's talking to those almost small amounts of people.
Yes.
It then floods out to other people and you'll
Of
catch
course.
other things. So so what I do is give them the vehicle to do that, but they then have to do the legwork. So I can go into a business and still sit with them and execute it with them, but they're still embracing that. You know, I don't ever put myself in a business to be there for the long term, as in, you know, I don't want an employed position in there.
No.
I like working for myself. I've done management. I've been employed. And actually, maybe I'm a bit unemployable now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Maybe. Only because I'm too mouthy, really, maybe. So I like giving them the vehicle because then eventually it becomes norm for them.
Yes. It's almost
And
as if you're push starting that vehicle.
Yes,
getting
and
it
kind
moving.
of like the roots grow and you can see them kind of like embedding in the people in the business, and then they start flowering and the leaves grow and they think, actually, this is quite normal for me now.
Yes.
You know, so they quite naturally fall into, right, this is what we do every Monday morning. This is what we do every Wednesday night. Every time I go to a networking, I take 3 new contact details, or I take a photo and put it on social media, or I follow up with whoever. You know, all those things are still marketing.
They are, aren't
but
they?
it becomes embedded in the nature of the business and those people in the business.
Yeah. That's really good. So I'm loving that analogy. The flowers, the growing.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good one. You should use that in marketing. So just on to terms of where you were. So if you may, go back to B&Q days, thinking about the technology. Obviously now come back to today, and the technology that you use today must have been massively different.
Massively.
Right.
I mean, I did have a BlackBerry.
Oh my goodness.
I loved my BlackBerry.
Little BlackBerry. Where did they go? Bless them. They lost their way and went.
I mean, my husband didn't like it because I could take it on holiday with me without him realising. But, you know, I mean, really a lot of it was phone calls.
Yeah.
We did do emails, but that was more for contractual stuff, actually.
Of course, yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, we took a paper copy down because we had to have 2 signatures, wet signatures on the paperwork, all that kind of stuff. So now, it's crazy. I do feel I'm a bit behind the times. I'm just dipping my toe in the water with AI.
Yes.
because hopefully that speeds up what I'm producing for my customers.
Yeah.
So therefore, my time can be spent elsewhere for them as well. So they're getting more output for their buck, if you like.
Absolutely right.
But yeah, the whole change now. I mean, I still like a conversation on the phone,
Yes.
or a face-to-face.
Yes,
I still thrive
absolutely.
because I love people, so I love that kind of relationship start.
Yes.
But then, using the tech. I mean, I know a lot of us moved it to it through the dark year.
We don't mention that.
Yes, exactly. Where we all had to be on Zoom or Teams, and very rarely
every day.
Yeah, exactly. All meeting in a garden, with
Yes.
meters between us. So that kind of did throw people, I think, together. And it's almost moved to the other way now, where people don't want to be,
No.
necessarily together or pick up the phone, And also that then reflects on generations coming through. So my kids, for example, they are useless on the phone. They don't know how to use a phone, really. They think it's some alien thing.
Absolutely.
You know?
What, do I have to talk to people?
Yeah,
Why can't I just text them?
Yeah. But then actually, if you think about it, we could learn a lot from them on developing
Yes.
relationships from a electronic tech point of view.
Yeah.
Massively, because I'm maybe not so good at that because I want to see, so I want to see the whites
Yes,
of their eyes.
absolutely. The old style.
But actually, there's a lot to be learned from
Yeah.
that generation who do build amazing relationships with that tech. But there's also something to be learned from the old school, like me, for example, where that human interaction is really important. So I love the AI thing. I was a bit frightened of it to start with, partly from my own career, because
Yes.
it could quite easily, businesses could think, oh yeah, we'll just do our marketing or do our planning or get a strategy straight off AI. Absolutely, you can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you. But you have to remember, certainly with the tech that we've got at the minute, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
So if you put quality stuff in, then you'll probably get something quality back out. But if you are a bit ropey and just say, write me a strategy, well,
No.
could end up with all
Adam has
sorts,
a
couldn't you?
lovely AI story. Obviously, it's very close to our hearts. But
Yeah.
he was saying, as a DJ, he said, "I'll use AI." So he had a DJ night at a rugby ground. It was at the Blackwell Meadows, which
Okay,
is just
yes,
local too.
yes, I know that.
And he went to AI, suggest some other things that the guests could do after the wedding. And the first thing that it suggested is, why don't you get them all to have a rugby match?
oh,
Yeah,
Well,
I was
you
just going to say the
could.
bride. You're like, "Whoa, get in that scrum."
depends what they're like, doesn't it?
But yeah, but that's what he was saying, and that's what I say. I can enter something into AI, Joe. Now, if you think about my programming work,
Yeah.
it's black and white. So if I tell it, please write me a program that adds 2 and 2 together to give me 4, every single time, 100% of the time, it will give me the correct answer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ask the AI to give you a marketing strategy. As you quite rightly said, you're not giving me enough input. So I use AI and it works 100% of the time for me.
Yeah.
Adam uses AI, and obviously in terms of marketing, you use AI. In terms of marketing, it will spit out some fantastic ideas, but it's not the be all and end all. And you've got to then go, well, actually, that may be the correct answer for company A. For company B, it will never work.
Absolutely,
But that's
yeah.
where your experience comes in.
Yeah.
And yet, everybody should not be frightened of AI. It will help you. It's just you need to use it in the right way.
Yeah, I think there's so much to be said for, and I've talked about this recently with some people that I've met through networking. That whole efficiency thing.
Yes.
Yeah, with tech and AI, it's incredible what can be done now.
Oh, gosh,
it
yes.
blows my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm not very good on tech stuff, so and how it works. I don't understand how a landline phone works still.
No,
so
me neither.
I'm
No,
trying not
hang
to
on,
think about
I
how
do,
it
I do.
works. Yeah, but what it can produce and the impact it can have, and that's not just about. And I know people are like, oh well. We've got our own self-checkout stuff now, but that means people don't have jobs. Well, that's not true, because
No.
actually you upskill them or you give them something else to do, which actually, again, goes back to maybe marketing, better customer service, more
Yes.
people in the store helping people shop.
Yes.
Maybe our elderly generations have almost like a personal shopper experience.
Yeah,
I don't know,
absolutely.
whatever, something like that. So the scope for AI, or that kind of digital piece, or digital tech piece, I should say, is huge, I think. And I think there's a lot to be said for businesses embracing that and realizing it doesn't have to be expensive either. And that actually speaking to someone like yourself, for example, they might have 2 systems that don't talk, like an accounting system and a production system
Yep.
or a stock control system that don't talk to each other. But actually, if you speak to Andy, he can probably find something
Correct.
that either makes them talk to each other
Yeah.
or plugs the gap,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
and without a lot of expense, because
Correct.
it doesn't need to be expensive.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from that point of view, I think there's a huge market, and there needs to be a lot more open arms to that from a kind of
I think so.
operational point of view, definitely. But even from my side, so where it's more perhaps customer facing, again, you can get ideas of things. So even if you put something in to say, can you give me a logo? Give me the start of a logo. You give the colours, what kind of style you want. It gives you a starting point. So if you're then talking to a developer or a graphic designer or a brand developer, you can say, this is the kind of thing I'm looking at, because it's really hard. Like if I could say something to you, I can describe this screen to you, and you will, if you're not looking at it, you will think it's something completely different from what I'm thinking.
People are different.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Even if you read a book and you imagine the book in your head and then you watch the film, you think, well, there's nothing like I imagined.
Jack Reacher is never that short, said Tom Cruise.
There you go. So, there's a place for that as well, where it can give people ideas. And, sometimes I'm writing for an industry that perhaps I don't know a lot of detail about.
Right.
I don't need to. I couldn't write for the tech industry off the top of my head. It's, like I've said, I don't understand how phone works, so how would that happen? But I could use AI to give me some prompts.
Correct.
I'd still probably have to come to an expert to check them out.
Yes, but I get what you're saying.
Check I don't know, the legislative side of it or whatever else. So I would never take what it gives out as it's
gospel.
Going to be.
No,
absolutely not. No. And also, it won't have your personality. So even if you say it in the style of Joe Long, well, it's not going to know who I am yet anyway. No. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
But, in the style of me, whatever it produces won't be my style. So therefore, you put your own creative piece on that. You put your own tone and voice. And you take out the bits that perhaps you think, I'm not so sure about that bit. Because it will give you stuff you think, really?
Yeah,
so,
but that's an interesting point there. I sometimes do get it to write some emails for me very quickly.
Okay.
If I'm trying to succinctly put my point across, I've got lots of this in my head.
Yeah.
But AI is very good. If I say, summarize the following thoughts, it will give it to me. However, interesting point, when it says, here is the email, I will look at those points and go, that's perfect, I would never say that. That's just not Andy Reid. No, remove, rephrase it and give it that there. But that's perfect in terms of what you're saying, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the lovely things, that, again, it's lovely how we're picking up together on this. So my dad, bless him, 80 years old, this AI stuff, Andy, this AI stuff, it's just going to ruin people's lives, isn't it? I'm like, absolutely not. So the example that I came up with, and just so everybody knows, it's my idea.
Okay. Heard it here first.
Credit here first.
Okay.
I gave the example. Imagine that you're going to B&Q, or another marketing, little supermarket, whatever, like that. They're all out there. Yep. And you don't need to have a checkout person anymore. And I was saying, look, you take these machines around with you, you do everything that you do, and you actually do not need to have a checkout person. My dad, well, there's my point. You've made that checkout person out of a job. I'm like, no, because what the company could do is imagine that the elderly people, Dad, you pointing, I said, imagine your point, having a personal person that will walk around the store with you, not only for that companionship, but helping. So you have redirected that resource. You're still paying them, so they've not lost a job, but suddenly you will find, potentially, all of the elderly people will flock to your store because they get a lovely person that takes them round and not only does... Can I have that tin of soup? How's your children? How's your grandchildren? And suddenly they're going,
aspect,
oh my goodness me, everything that I've missed, bless, they may be single anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
I was thinking, and my dad was like, do you know, I've never thought of it like that.
But isn't that going back to the old corner shop style?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, 100%.
So for that generation, that could be a bit of a,
to me, it's a perfect seller.
Isn't it? But also for those, perhaps there are people who find actually supermarket shopping quite daunting,
yes.
whatever challenges they have. Again, that could be, if they know it's the same person every week that's going to help them down the store, that could be a massive thing.
Oh, yeah, coming up and say, is Joe around, please? And say, oh, hello, Mrs., Mrs. whatever. And they take them round. But not only do you get to know that, from a business point of view, that person will come to the store, buy more. Hang on, this is a win-win.
Absolutely. And tell people, it's that word of mouth thing again,
Word of mouth thing again, Joe. Right, if anybody's listening, that's mine and Joe's idea. We get 15%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 15%.
Each.
Thank you. 15% each. If anybody, Mr. and Mrs. B&Q, Mr. and Mrs. Asda, if you're thinking, you see, we're on the game. So, what was the question that I had just then? It skipped my head. You were talking about AI. You were talking about the corporates. You were talking about... Gosh, it's gone. Oh, it was a really good question as well, I guarantee you. It'll come back.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your life then, you were saying about, looking people in the eyes and taking them all of that. And again, I want to bring it back to the company's journey, this vehicle that you're providing on. And you were saying that you obviously don't want to be like their permanent person. You're just wanting to sort of like push them on and allow that business to work in terms of that. So your business strategy for Joe Long Consultancy, how is that being affected by technology to allow you to provide and deliver the project for your customers? What do you use personally now to get on with that?
Like I said, like this whole AI thing, this whole new world for me.
Whole new world.
Yeah. So I mean, for some customers or some of my clients, I write all the content for their social media, for example.
Right, okay.
For some of them, it's all about the planning and reporting side. But again, AI is really good on that, you know, and it just means, you know, having a consultant come into your business it's an investment. It's not a cheap thing to do, and it's not something that you, in my opinion, you want to like just have them in once and then that's it. They go away and you never see them again, because what impact are they going to have? You know, it's no good writing a marketing plan for somebody or a marketing strategy and then a plan for them and then saying, right, there you go, off you pop.
Okay, thanks.
Because otherwise, they could be like, okay, well, I've got all these things, but what do I do now? You know, that's about kind of like prioritizing them, responsibilities, accountabilities, timelines, measuring it, all that kind of stuff. So from my point of view, the tech allows me to dip in and out. So obviously I can use Zoom, for example, for monthly calls rather than having to go to the business.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of my clients say, you know, well, we were driving to my office for our monthly meetings, so do you charge me for that on time? I'm like, no.
No.
Because within a certain distance, I won't do.
I don't do that neither. If they're local enough, I don't charge.
Yeah, no, I won't charge them. I charge for the meeting time, as I would do normally.
Absolutely.
But if they're further afield, then I'm not going to drive 3 hours to them anyway, because...
No, why would you?
That wouldn't work.
No.
From a sustainability point of view, it's not great either, is it? So do it online, again, makes it really efficient. You can get through just as much. In fact, somebody was saying to me last week about some tech, which I need to have a look at for, you know, just for bigger businesses, really, where they have, rather than being a Zoom camera, when they're collating remote workers, if you see what I mean, maybe they're having a board meeting and someone's remote, they have cameras that can scope around people's faces as they're talking.
Yes,
so actually
it's called an owl, because the owl twists and looks around. So whoever's talking is instantly zoom on them, and then Alina will talk, and the head will twist, and it will look at Alina and then at me.
Clever.
Oh, very, very clever.
Really good, isn't it?
Really
so
good,
I think something like that, that's so much more immersive. And I know I can't think who's. Well, I'm going to say Apple. It probably isn't Apple, so sorry if it's not Apple and whoever it is. You know, the whole, you know, using the VR masks and stuff like that for meetings.
Oculus.
Thank you. Yeah. Oculus. Using those for meetings and things. So you actually almost you step into the meeting room and all that kind of stuff. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that I'm there yet, but you know, I definitely find kind of the AI and so making my time more efficient and my output actually sometimes more creative, because you know I can have a really dry subject to write on.
Yeah.
And then we all get writer's block, and I can take the dog out for a walk and still come back and think, oh no, I just don't know where I'm going with this. So actually to have that and be able to plug it in saying, if I was talking to these type of people about this topic, what would you know be some like funny or quirky or in this tone or serious, whatever that might be, you know, in a UK tone, because I don't want the US version. What would you suggest? And again, they might give me headlines or bullet points to use or whatever else, you know. So it's that type of thing. I'm like, right, okay, so I've got my creative spark back now, so I can carry on doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so again, rather than sitting twiddling my thumbs thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Do I charge for this blank time or not? Because I don't want to, because I'm not producing anything.
Yeah.
So it just makes that process a bit quicker.
I've remembered my question.
Okay,
good. So we were talking about people being potentially made redundant from their role because AI has kicked in. So my question to you was, in terms of being, if you like, a trusted partner for their marketing, what would you say to some of our listeners, some of our customers who, again, going back to the point, I don't need marketing, I do it myself, and why am I paying you, Joe? I get that. Why am I paying you for my IT, Andy? I could do it myself. The problem is, you're a solicitor or whatever, charging £200. Why are you the one fixing the printer where I'm a much lower price? So how, in terms of, not to justify yourself, Joe, I don't want you to do that, but how in terms of presenting your game to the client, can you go, look, I can provide not only my vast experience, but this is what I can provide you to allow that customer to go, actually, I do need you, Joe.
Well, marketing, a bit like anything else, really, a bit like finance or sales or whatever, is really time consuming. You know,
and
if
that's
you're
what I'm
do
getting
it
at.
Really
the
well.
time is ridiculous.
Yeah. So if you're a business owner or on the board of directors or whatever, and you've got time to do the marketing, if you're not the marketing director, and you've got time to do all that, then excellent.
Crack on.
Yeah, you carry on. But there's also, obviously I bring my expertise. So I've got lots of years of expertise in various forms as well. So 30 odd years. So for me, it's a case of what I bring to you is clarity.
100%.
So working out what's going to work for you best. Let's try and test that. Let's try and test that. Yes, that's working. Brilliant. Let's crack on. But also a plan. So a lot of the time, businesses fall down because they don't have a plan in place.
Correct.
And as we know, businesses without a plan, a bit like a boat without a rudder, they'll probably get to the end results, but not as quickly as they would do if they had the rudder in place. So from my point of view, marketing should be delivering back to you.
Yes.
It's an investment, so therefore it should pay back.
Yeah.
So why would you put money into marketing and not want anything back?
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of the time people say, I've done marketing, I've done a bit, it didn't give me anything back. Well, what did you do? And did you measure it? How do you actually know it didn't work?
Correct.
So all of that I can bring. So I bring the plan, well, the alignment.
Yes.
So, okay, let's have a look at where you want the business to go. Then what marketing are you doing now? Is that actually helping that business go in that direction, or is it impeding it maybe?
Yeah,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah, let's take the bits that are really good. Excellent, we'll carry on with those. Let's see what else there is as well. So let me give you the plan to do that, and I can sit with your team to help deliver that, or I could be in accountability, so we can come back every month. What's happened? What's worked? What didn't happen? Why didn't it happen? Okay, so not enough resource. In which case, either let's scale it back,
Yeah.
or we need some extra resource on this team, or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
So that's lovely. One of the things I would like to pick up, and it's really interesting for me, is that we sometimes get asked, well, why should I employ you as an external IT company when I could employ somebody internally? I'm like, that's not a problem. You will get that internal person. I said the benefit of employing somebody like Resilient is not only do you have Andy, Michelle, Dan, Eddie. So I said this gentleman, IT person, lady could go on holiday. Who's going to look after it then? And also one of the things that you picked up there, Joe, about your experience, I find, and certainly when I used to work in larger organisations, the marketing person or the whatever person tends to end up, bless them, being blinkered because all they're doing is working in that company.
Yeah.
Whereas I will go into a customer 1 week, go into a customer 4 weeks later, another customer, they asked me about something and I went, oh, I saw that and I did this for this other customer. Again, that's where I'm assuming your massive experience comes from in terms of like, hang on, I know exactly what won't work for you or what will work for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not always exactly knowing.
No, it's not black and white.
No, it's never black and white. But yeah, you get a feel for things. And I think, that's the great thing about your and my job, isn't it? Because we learn all the time.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So I work with different customers. Although my background's manufacturing, so I'm kind of naturally aligned with that, I suppose. But realistically, I work across all sorts of industries, and I learn from that all the time.
Yes.
So it might be a tech industry, it might be an HR industry, whatever it is. So those aspects that you learn and those lessons and the tactics that do work and don't work, and you think, actually, that worked there. I wonder if it could work here because the customer base is similar, or the values are aligned similarly, although it's a different industry or a different proposition. The values might be aligned, and therefore this might actually work.
And this is what I'm getting at, Joe. That let's say that they had an internal marketing firm, they would have never have thought of that.
No, probably not. And it's almost like having like that third eye looking in on the business, isn't it? That bird's eye view that I think is really important, and also that then gives them the opportunity for a third party to look inside the business and spot things that people aren't.
And I get that.
Your job will be amazing.
Yes.
You'll be amazing at that because obviously the tech side, you'll see disjoints.
What are you doing that for? Yes.
I don't know, cars falling off the track.
Yes.
Like, what is that doing there? Kind of thing, whatever. Like, I think that's another industry that's really kind of like develops itself really well and creates efficiency is what I'm getting at. Whereas mine, I can go in and say, well, why were you doing that? Why are you on TikTok?
Because we thought it was
my daughter said it should. Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it might be a good idea, but let's think about how you're actually propositioning yourself here. So TikTok can work for business. It's not all about cats and dancing. And I know there are Phil Teasdale, for example, from Enterprise Made Simple.
Yes.
He has an amazing TikTok course.
He does.
And is also very successful on TikTok. I'm still dipping my toe in it. I'm sure he'll send me a message to say you should just get on with it. Yeah. But, it's not a platform that I think my customers are on at the minute.
No, I will start. I don't think Resilient do have a TikTok account. I think looking at Alina because she does our marketing. But it's when I set up, it was definitely something that was coming, and I'm like, I'm not sure. TikTok's right for us. I now leave that up to Adam and his team. But you're right. And again, that's the beauty of having somebody. One of the themes that's running through all of these podcasts show is having a trusted partner.
Absolutely.
And a lot of companies, they do think, well, I'm starting off, I don't want to spend money, I'll do my own marketing. But as you said, different hat. Today I'm marketing. Right, everybody, let's do Facebook posts. You tend to find a flash of Facebook post, and then why haven't you done that for the last 3 months? Well, I'm too busy doing this over here. Yeah. By actually outsourcing to a trusted partner, yes, it costs you money, but if you give it time, and that's one of the things you said right at the very start.
Absolutely.
Marketing, I couldn't employ you next week, Joe, and then a week later go, right, what have you done for me?
Yeah.
Well, nothing.
Well, you could do, but...
Well, you could do, but it won't happen. But the same with that thing. What you'll find is you get lots more experience, you get that vast knowledge, and also it's the accountability. Not that I want to pull you in and go, right, Joe, why is this not working for me? It's that openness by going, right, Joe, what do you think? What's your advice now? So again, in terms of your customers, that must be great for them to lean on you and just go, right, why isn't it working? Because nothing will be right first time.
No, very rarely do you get it right first time. There's also, I think, once you start talking to people about marketing, they want to tell you everything.
Yes.
So therefore, they want to tell everyone everything.
Yes.
So there's a sudden just almost like a vomiting of this is everything we're doing all now, all at once.
Yes.
And actually, again, if you go back to how you use perhaps social media or how we read the news, we don't just absorb everything at once.
No.
It doesn't happen like that. So we really have to, especially when time is so precious in people's lives now, you have to really drip feed. So you have to break everything down really, really small, tiny, tiny bite-sized pieces to feed the content machine, if you like, the communications machine, so people understand little bits as they go along.
Yeah, but also
feed them like that.
It's also interesting, Joe. It's all about repetitiveness, is what I've learned. So if for one meeting I met you, and it was just like, oh hi, sorry, who are you, Joe Longer, Jonathan? That's fine, but I'm guaranteed a week later, if you ask me who, I'm like, no idea. Haven't got a clue who she was. No, but exactly. So a lot of the things that I was taught in my very, very early days is, there's that repetition. A customer has got to know Coca-Cola, Virgin, Joe Long, Andy Reid from Resilient. It's that repetitiveness. And as you would say, the marketing is all, even if it's just popping that poster up, as you said, and somebody walking past a shop, 6 or 7 times in a month, eventually if you went, Joe Long, she went, yeah, I've seen that on a poster. She does marketing, doesn't she? Or she does branding. That's the key, isn't it? It's that repetitiveness.
Exactly right.
And it's a long journey, this marketing branding thing.
It is, yeah. There was so there's a marketing theory about touch points.
All right.
So how many touch points a consumer, as in somebody who's recipient to your product or service, needs before they will buy. If they're in the market.
Interesting, right, okay.
So it used to be something like, when I first started in corporate, it was something like maybe 5 or 6 touch points.
Right.
It's now something like 16 or 17.
Wow, that's almost double in a bit.
Yeah.
See how good my maths is.
Well done. So that just shows how busy the markets are.
Yes.
So even if you're in a really niche market, it's going to be super busy with lots of other stuff going on. We've got really busy lives.
Oh gosh, yes.
We run around like headless chickens. Everything's got to be there right now, in full capacity. Blah blah. So that's why you have to drip feed the information, and that's why almost you kind of get on their radar, and you gradually creep forward, and you creep forward, and you creep forward, and then when they're ready to buy, they're like, oh Andy, that's the guy I need. Because I've seen him, and someone's told me about him, and I know he's done this, and I've seen him do that, and I know he worked with them.
Wow.
Well done.
There you go. Well, that wraps it up. Can you believe that's an hour over and done with?
I can't believe it.
You cannot believe that. So,
crazy.
hopefully, for is it your first podcast? It's not, is it?
No, it's not actually.
No,
well,
that's
I
fine.
did my first podcast with you.
Well, I suppose that's fine. That's fine. Speedy one, absolutely. So we normally wrap up the episodes to say, what are you doing for the weekend? I'm travelling down to London.
Are you?
I'm going to go see some. It's a bit of a secret.
Oh.
It's a bit of a secret that I can't tell anybody about, but I shall tell our listeners when I do come back. It's all a big secret at the moment. Oh, how intriguing is that? But what about yourself? What do you do to relax? Not marketing.
No, well, sometimes. So this weekend, I've got a little event with my choir that I'm part of.
Oh, you're part of a choir.
Yes.
You sing.
I do sing.
Oh, lovely.
Not always, in tune, but we do sing.
Well, where's this choir at?
So it's actually based near me in Barnard Castle.
Lovely.
It's called Affinity.
Beautiful.
And we've got a gig at the Witham.
Oh, goodness me. Right. So may I ask what
So
type of things you sing?
Well, All sorts, actually.
All sorts.
Yeah, we do a bit of Foo Fighters.
Oh my goodness me, this is great.
I know, honestly. And then we do a bit of, and I'm racking my brains, what else? Because that's my favourite song.
Oh gosh,
We do The Chain, we sing some Bob Marley, all sorts.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a massive repertoire, and we absolutely love it.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. So when's that? Is that a Saturday or a...
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Oh, goodness
We're only
me.
there for an hour, so you have to catch us at 2 o'clock.
Quickest catches. Where can they get you, though? Was it at Barnard Castle and, sorry?
At the Witham.
The Witham.
The Witham in Barnard
Fantastic.
Castle.
Lovely.
Yes.
And what about Sunday? Is that just going to be a relax with the
Sunday, I
family?
think I might go for a swim in the river.
Oh my goodness me, plunging like Adam does. He does cold plunging after his rugby session and stuff like that.
Okay. No, I don't do ice baths, but I do like getting in the lake or the river.
No, so it's a bit of good exercise and yes,
Well, I'm not sure. Lots of jaw exercise. We do lots of talking. It's guaranteed to make you smile when you come out anyway.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's good for the soul.
So, just to finally wrap up, how can, if people are very interested in speaking to you, and why wouldn't they be people? Why would you not want to speak to Joe? If people want to get hold of you, how and what do they do?
Yes, they can email me at joe@jolonconsulting.com. They can go on my website, which is jolonconsulting.com. What a surprise.
What a surprise.
That's got my phone number on as well. And I'm on LinkedIn as Joe Long.
Yeah.
I'm also on Instagram, Joe Long Consulting, and I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Facebook.
Sorry, Facebook.
No, I know. I'm also on TikTok as Joe's Marketing Muses, but it's sporadic.
Sporadic. Needs to be
more
worked
to
on.
come. More to come.
Well, that's been fascinating, Howard. I hope everybody's enjoyed that. So really good from our listeners. So from everybody here, as in me, Joe, not Adam, slacking Adam. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye.